Hey, what's going on, guys? Andrew here, and as you can see, the title screen below, my title for this week's video is going to be Top 12 Most Watched DVDs in my collection. Now, this is, again, to the best of my knowledge, this will definitely let you in on, you know, what movies that I like to watch and what ones I generally consider fun. Now, I will note that I didn't kind of repeat, so I didn't really put My Bloody Valentine remake in there, or I didn't put The Messengers. I didn't even put the original My Bloody Valentine in there, because I did mention that last week, or April Fool's Day. Another one that just actually missed the cuts, The Faculty. I don't think that I've watched that on this DVD as much as I have just like on TV and stuff. Yeah, those are all repeats from last week. But those are all ones that I watch quite often, as you know, that I mentioned last week. But I wanted to, you know, put some more on here that, you know, I didn't get to talk about last week. Without that being said, I'll get right into this. Number 12 is going to be Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Now, I will say that this is in order not from my least favorite to my favorite, but from ones that I've watched to the ones that I've watched the most is on the bottom. So that's obviously, so you're going to see some like not as good films towards the top of the list because of that. So Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Yeah, this was honestly one of the ones that I watched like last year whenever we all found out that Wes Craven had passed away, sadly. I watched this one quite a bit. Yeah, this is probably one I watched half a dozen times, you know, in that week span. Listened to the commentary quite a bit. It was quite interesting to listen to that. I still have fond memories. I honestly haven't watched it since then, but yeah, just even in that span of time, I watched it quite a bit, so. Yeah, this next one is pretty much all of these, and it would be the Final Destination. Now, actually, I think I will be upgrading this to Blu-ray soon. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't made up my mind. But this was one of the first ones that I remember buying as a collector, or even before I actually decided to start collecting. But basically, these I watch every summer. I've watched them all three summers in a row that I've been, you know, watching horror movies mostly. So yeah, this one I have a lot of fond memories with the whole series. I honestly think these are really, really entertaining. No matter what sequel, no matter how much I like or dislike one, I always find them entertaining. Yeah, it's really nice. I really enjoy that series. Number 10 is quite an odd one. This is one that I watched quite a bit last year, 2 years ago. Not so much recently, but that'd be Amityville 2: The Possession. Now, this one I do actually really enjoy. I probably would watch this more than the first one just because it's not as scary, and I don't know, it broadcasts the house quite a bit, which I love. Yeah, this one definitely is a pretty dark story because it deals with like family abuse and like incest and different things like that. It's quite I would say it's quite an entertaining sequel, and it's got quite a good bit of like interesting themes in it. Yeah, but I've watched this one quite a bit. I went on like a haunted house like I love haunted houses, and I love houses in general, so that automatically fell in, and number 10 is going to be the Amityville Horror. Now, I will say this is my favorite horror house, like a house in a horror movie, definitely my favorite. I absolutely love this house, and I mean the film too. This one I've definitely watched more than for the second one, though I could watch the second one more. I just love this movie so much that I just end up watching it more. But this DVD in particular, I've watched quite a bit. It's in that collection that I have up there, the third one and the documentary of the Amityville Horror. So yeah, this is, I mean, you all know the story of it. Phenomenal haunted house. My favorite probably my favorite or second favorite haunted house movie. Number 9 is actually one I find myself watching every couple of months, and it's Wes Craven's Deadly Blessing. It's his second, and yeah, it's my last Wes Craven movie on the list, I believe. yeah, I really enjoy this movie. Really love it. It's such a great feel to it. The reason why I like this too is it like I grew up in Pennsylvania. I live in you know, one of my homes is in Pennsylvania. This Amish country stuff is definitely a real thing, and it really has this great feel of like Amish out in the middle of nowhere Pennsylvania feel. Even though it wasn't shot in Pennsylvania, it still has that feel. It's a great movie. Now this one I actually have the Blu-ray for it right now, but I do still have the DVD of it, and that would be The Apparition. Actually, I think I traded this in, if I'm not mistaken, or I gave it to my brother. I can't remember which one. But yeah, this I watched the DVD of this so many times, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I honestly, it's not a scary film whatsoever. It's just one of those that I can put on and just, you know, not, you know, and just kind of fall asleep to, because it's not like a terrifying film or anything. Yeah. Next up on the list is When a Stranger Calls. Now, I think this is one of the first movies that we ever actually owned. We've owned this movie for quite a while. I mean, it's got quite a bit of like nicks and stuff on it, and it actually has the Hollywood Video Express on it still. And I mean, it, you know, it shows its age too, because it has the PSP and it has all of these movies that are on it, and it actually looks pretty new though. I remember watching this so much when I first started watching horror movies, quite a bit. Honestly, every fall I make sure to watch this. It's quite an enjoyable watch. I like this one infinitely more than the original. Anyhow, yeah, this is one of those, like, it's based on an urban legend, and it's quite an entertaining read. It's from '06, so it was honestly with The Messengers. It also played on like DirecTV and stuff quite a bit. So yeah, I ended up watching that often on there too. Next up is one of the newer ones that I've actually started collecting, and that would be Hatchet. Now, my brother was nice enough to get me this one with this awesome slipcover. It has this great feel to it. Yeah, I watch this movie very often. In fact, I just watched it last week. Anytime that I see anything from like New Orleans culture, anytime I watch like the Saints play or anything like that, I just end up wanting to watch this or The Last Exorcism. I watched this more than the second and third one just because it's so fun, and like the beginning like 10 minutes is just a blast to watch. Yeah, it's just, the whole thing is a blast to watch, but like the first 10 minutes where they're in Mardi Gras and stuff is just hilarious, all the jokes. Now on to number 4, and that would be The Grudge. Not so much just because that it's so fun to watch, but just because this is one of one of the earlier ones that we own. Actually, this is an original copy of it, and it's so scratched up right now. It has a hard time playing. Yeah, it's just been quite a lot. We actually bought this when it first came out in '04. Yeah, '04. It was released in '05, I think, on home video. So yeah, I've had this for quite a while. Watched it quite a few times. I still don't understand quite a bit because it's a non-linear movie, so it jumps around in the story, but it all comes together in the end, sort of. Yeah, honestly, it's not as scary or not as effective as the original, but it's quite entertaining, and Sarah Michelle Gellar's easy to look at, so it makes it for an enjoyable 90 minutes. Number 3 is one that I've owned for, I think, you know, pretty much since the first year that I started collecting horror. And that would be Black Christmas, and again, I watch this 2 or 3 times every Christmas. Yeah, it's Bob Clark's masterpiece of a movie. Very, very scary. Yeah, I mean, not much I can say about it. Honestly, this is one that I still, like, even though how scary it is, it's still really enjoyable to watch every year. I don't know. It's still weird. I watch it 2 or 3 times every Christmas. We watch it every Christmas Eve. Me and my brother sit down and watch it every Christmas Eve. Number 2, oh my, this is one I didn't showcase last week, but that would be Valentine. I remembered I watched this I think like 3 years ago, whenever 2 years ago, well, it would actually have been 2 years ago this past Valentine's Day, I'd actually owned this. And I watched it 5-6 times that before that Valentine's Day, and I watch it 2 or 3 times every other year for Valentine's Day also. So honestly, this is a really enjoyable watch. Excuse me. Yeah, it's got quite a good cast in it as well. Got some really well-known names in it. Do enjoy this 90 minutes of just pure fun and enjoyment. It's from like '01 or '02, so it was one of those ones. And number 1 on my list, quite ironic, The Right. I actually had this list out, yesterday, and I was thinking back to like my first buy as like whenever I just like was like I'm gonna start buying. And honestly, when I first started buying, it wasn't because I wanted to collect it. I still don't even have that I'm a collector in mind. I just buy movies that I love. Like, I watch a movie and I absolutely love it, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta buy it. And I just end up loving all these movies. This was the first one that I bought. This with the Final Destinations, I bought all together. And I've watched it probably every couple of months since then. I watched it quite a bit when I first bought it. I really enjoy this movie, and ironically, when I pulled it out yesterday and saw that it was, you know, like it was going to be number 1 on my list, I thought, yeah, for sure, because I've watched this and owned this the longest of all the ones that I've actually started collecting, like The Grudges, Pre, all that. Yeah, this one I actually just watched last night. It was funny. And I love it. I absolutely love this. This is a forgotten gem, and you can't really go wrong with Anthony Hopkins. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah, Colin O'Donoghue does a fine job. I don't really buy his like skepticism through the whole movie. But all in all, it's actually a really enjoyable story. I think it could have cut about 5 to 10 minutes of this off. But all in all, I really think that this is like a really good. Like, it's honestly, I'd say it's probably my second favorite exorcism film behind The Exorcist, I would say. I've watched The Exorcist so many times, tied with my favorite horror movie. I really can't decide. But yeah, this one's definitely up there as well. Oh, you could count the last second. But anyways, that's my list of top 12 movies that I have watched. Now, next week, I will do Blu-rays. So you can see which ones I pop in quite a bit. Yeah, the Blu-rays are actually ones that I'm actually newer with. So you'll see some ones that, you know, since I started buying and stuff that I still watch quite often, even as just started upgrading everything to Blu-ray. If anything has a combo pack, I always upgrade it. So yeah, yeah, that's my list. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know. You know, I'm sure these are some that you guys haven't you know, watched before or anything like that, or you know, some of you that you've seen haven't seen in a while. Yeah, feel free to comment, please like, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I will be doing a subscriber video once I hit 100. I'm at 80 right now, like hovering between 80 and 83. Don't know why, but yeah. Yeah, thanks guys tuning in. Have a great week, and hopefully you like this. See you guys again in a couple days.